the book that challenges you to stop sabotaging your own life. You Are a Badass, Jen Sincero. Most people spend years waiting for the perfect moment to change their lives. They wait until they feel more confident, more prepared, more talented, or more certain about the future. Meanwhile, their dreams remain exactly where they started, somewhere in the distance. In You Are a Badass, Jen Sincero argues that the biggest obstacle standing between people and the life they want is rarely a lack of opportunity. More often, it is a collection of fears, limiting beliefs, and self-defeating habits that quietly shape their decisions every day. Imagine driving a car with the parking brake engaged. You can press the accelerator harder and harder, burn more fuel, and put in more effort, yet the car will never move as efficiently as it should. According to Jen Sincero, this is how many people live their lives. They work hard, stay busy, and constantly tell themselves they want something better, yet they remain stuck because unconscious beliefs are holding them back. The central idea of You Are a Badass is that personal transformation begins with changing the way you think about yourself. Most people underestimate how much of their behavior is driven by deeply rooted beliefs that were formed years earlier. These beliefs often operate in the background, influencing decisions without being questioned. A person may believe they are not talented enough to succeed. Another may believe they are not worthy of love. Someone else may believe that wealth is only for other people. Over time, these assumptions stop feeling like opinions and start feeling like facts. The problem is that people build their lives around them. They avoid opportunities because they assume failure is inevitable. They stay in situations that no longer serve them because they doubt they deserve better. They lower their expectations because they have become convinced that extraordinary outcomes are unrealistic. Sincero argues that before external circumstances can change, internal narratives often need to change first. One of the book's most important lessons is that awareness comes before transformation. Many people spend years repeating the same patterns without understanding why. They make similar mistakes in relationships, careers, finances, and personal development while assuming that bad luck is to blame. However, when they begin paying attention to their thoughts and behaviors, recurring themes often emerge. The same fears appear repeatedly. The same excuses surface whenever growth becomes uncomfortable. The same stories about limitations continue to influence decisions. Recognizing these patterns can be uncomfortable because it forces people to confront the possibility that they are participating in the creation of their own problems. At the same time, this realization is empowering because it means change is possible. If thoughts influence actions and actions influence outcomes, then altering those thoughts can create a different future. Another major theme throughout the book is the relationship between fear and growth. Most people interpret fear as a warning sign that they should stop, retreat, or remain where they are. Sincero encourages readers to see fear differently. Fear often appears whenever something important is at stake. It appears before difficult conversations. It appears before major decisions. It appears before taking risks that have the potential to change a life. The presence of fear does not necessarily mean a person is moving in the wrong direction. In many cases, it means they are standing at the edge of growth. The people who create meaningful change in their lives are not those who never experience fear. They are the ones who learn how to act despite it. The book also explores the issue of self-worth. Many individuals believe that confidence arrives after success. They assume they will feel worthy once they achieve enough, earn enough, or prove enough. Sincero argues that this approach creates a never-ending cycle. If self-worth depends entirely on achievement, it remains fragile because there will always be another challenge, another comparison, or another goal that has not yet been reached. Instead, she encourages readers to develop a sense of worth that exists independently of external validation. This does not mean becoming arrogant or ignoring weaknesses. It means recognizing that being imperfect does not diminish your value as a human being. When people stop measuring their worth solely by outcomes, they become more willing to take risks because failure no longer threatens their identity. Money is another topic that receives significant attention in the book. Sincero argues that many people have complicated and often contradictory beliefs about wealth. They want financial success, yet they may secretly associate money with greed, selfishness, or moral compromise. These conflicting beliefs create internal resistance. Part of the mind pursues success while another part pushes it away. The result is frustration and inconsistency. According to Sincero, improving financial circumstances often requires examining emotional and psychological attitudes toward money rather than focusing exclusively on practical strategies. The book repeatedly emphasizes the importance of taking responsibility. This idea can be challenging because it removes the comfort of blaming circumstances, other people, or bad luck for every difficulty. Responsibility does not mean that every problem is self-created. Life contains genuine hardships, unfair situations, and events beyond anyone's control. However, responsibility means focusing on what can be influenced rather than becoming trapped by what cannot. People gain power when they direct their energy toward choices, actions, and responses instead of dwelling endlessly on limitations. One of the most memorable aspects of the book is its insistence that change requires action. Inspiration alone is not enough. Reading motivational books, listening to podcasts, and making plans can feel productive, but none of these activities automatically create results. At some point, action becomes necessary. Goals remain fantasies until they are supported by behavior. Dreams remain ideas until they are translated into decisions. Transformation begins when knowledge is converted into practice. As the narrative develops, Sincero continues returning to a recurring message: the life people want is often much closer than they realize. The obstacle is rarely a complete absence of opportunity. More often, it is a reluctance to trust themselves, challenge old beliefs, and move beyond familiar limitations. This process is not comfortable. Growth rarely is. It requires confronting uncertainty, risking failure, and abandoning excuses that may have provided emotional protection for years. Yet it is precisely this discomfort that creates change. By the end of You Are a Badass, the reader is left with a perspective that is both motivating and practical. The difference between the life people imagine and the life they experience is often determined by the stories they tell themselves about what is possible. Those stories influence confidence. Confidence influences action. Action influences results. The final lesson of the book is that extraordinary lives are not reserved for a small group of exceptional people. They are built by ordinary people who decide to stop waiting for permission, stop allowing fear to make decisions on their behalf, and start acting as though their goals are worth pursuing. Because the moment you stop treating your dreams as unrealistic and start treating them as achievable possibilities, you begin creating a future that once seemed impossible. And that future starts not with a dramatic breakthrough, but with a decision to believe that you are capable of more than you have allowed yourself to imagine.